Good morning. Today we will talk about metallurgy, some terminologies that we use in the metallurgy, which are very important, and we will see the general process involved in the extraction of a metal. Let's define what is metallurgy. It is the metal, study of metal, and the process involved in the extraction of metal. The entire process involved in the extraction of metal. It's the study of metal and the process involved in the extraction of a particular metal. So that is called metallurgy. Now let's define what is mineral. Minerals. So what are minerals? Minerals are naturally occurring chemical substances. They are naturally occurring chemical substances from which a desired metal is extracted. So minerals are basically present in the nature. We have to dig it sometimes or we have to unearth it. They will be seated deep below the surface of the earth. We have different types of minerals that are present in the nature. Let's define what is ore. So minerals are nothing but naturally occurring chemical substances from which a desired metal is extracted. Similarly, ore. What is ore? Those minerals from which a desired metal is extracted is called ore. Ore are also minerals from which we extract a desired metal. So minerals from which we extract a desired metal is called ore. So here we can say that all ores are minerals, but all minerals are not ores. Okay, because minerals are different for different types of metals, but ore is particular for a particular type of metal. Let's see one or two examples of ores. Ore of aluminum ore. So it is Al2O3, 2H, 2O. This is hydrated aluminum oxide. We call this as bauxite. Bauxite, bauxite. Likewise, we have another ore of iron, Fe, Fe2O3. We call this as hematite, Hematite, hematite. Now let's see some terminologies which are very important in the extraction. Some terms. First one is charge. What is charge? Charge is nothing but it is a mixture of materials which is fed in the furnace. Mixture fed in furnace during the extraction of a particular metal. So that is called charge. Everything that we put in the furnace and heat it, roast it or calcinate it, that is called charge. Next one is gangue. Gangue, or it's also called as a matrix. They are nothing but they are the impurities that are present along with the ore. We call them as gangue or matrix. We have to separate them or we have to segregate them from the ore before we start the actual extraction. Next is flux. Flux, flux. It's nothing but it is the chemical substance that we mix with the matrix so that the flux is going to remove the impurities. Okay, chemical mixed with that dissolves gangue. So we will use flux, that is the chemical substance, some chemical substances, and mix it with the gangue or matrix, so that this flux is going to dissolve these impurities, and we can separate them. Next is slag. What is slag? Slag is nothing but it is the product that is obtained by combination of gangue and flask. Gangue and flask is we get slag. It is the product that we get when gangue and flask are mixed together. Now we will see the general process that is involved in the extraction of metal, general steps in metallurgy. Let's begin from the top. Metallurgy. There are basically 4 steps. First step is dressing of ore. Dressing means cleaning of the ore. So cleaning of the ore can be done by hand picking, or we can crush it or grind it, and then separate the impurities. So dressing can be done by hand picking. Through hand picking we can pick up the impurities which we can see with our eyes. Next is concentration. Concentration is nothing but it is the process involved in increasing the concentration of that particular ore and decreasing the concentration of impurities. So concentration of the ore can be done in 2 methods. First method is physical method, and second method will be chemical method. We will see next after some time. In physical method we can use magnetic separation. Using magnet to separate the impurities, separate the metallic ores from the impurities which are not having magnetic properties. Or we can also use hydraulic washing. We wash it with water and then we dissolve the impurities and separate. And next one is froth flotation. Froth flotation is a method where we will be using some chemicals, usually the pine oil, to dissolve the impurities in some case and separate the ore from the impurities. Next is chemical method. In chemical method we have only one method, that is called leaching. Leaching is similar to that of using a flask, which we have already seen. We using a suitable solvent, we dissolve it and then separate the impurities. Once the concentration is over, we will move to the next step. The next step is conversion of ore to oxide. The concentrated ore, now we have to convert it into oxide. So there are 2 methods. First method is roasting. Roasting is heating of the ore at high temperature in absence of air. And we have another method called calcination. Calcination is also heating the ore in limited supply of air. Roasting with air, calcination with limited air. So that's the difference. Once this conversion of ore to oxide is done, then we will move to the next step, the final step, that is called refining of metals. refining of metal. So here in the conversion of ore to oxide, we have other steps also. In calcination we have other steps, so let's try to see this once again. Other steps involved are reduction of oxide to metal. So during reduction there are different reducing agents we use. We use sometimes heat, sometimes we use carbon, sometimes we use carbon monoxide, and last, in refining of the metal, we basically use electrolysis. So this is the entire steps that are involved in the extraction of metal. What we need to remember is, first, dressing of ore, concentration of the ore, conversion of the concentrated ore to oxide, and finally the refining of the metal. And in each case we have other steps that are involved in the middle. So in the next video I am going to post the explanation about other steps that are involved in metallurgy. Thank you.